Hey, what's going on? This is Pastor Nate, and we are here for episode 2 of Boss Talk. We appreciate all your comments and all your feedback. Glad that it's been a blessing to you. And when we do Boss Talk, when you go to get an advanced degree, you get an MBA, a Master's in Business. And so we have quantified Boss Talk as a MBA, Master's in Boss. And so what we did is, because I have a connection to a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, who are doing business successfully, I wanted people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, that you're working on your side hustle now, that you have your business and you have questions, maybe because you're working, because you're a husband, because you're a wife, your mother, whatever it is. You said, Pastor Nate, I can't go back to school, but what I wanted to do was bring people who are doing what you're doing and give you information so you can be successful in what you're doing. And I am so honored. I'm geeked. But our guest here tonight is my man, Keijuane Hester, Favor Desserts. And his story is incredible. He is a businessman. He is a successful businessman. He used to say that Drake started from the bottom, now he's here. He said he started from the curb. So we're going to see how he started from the curb and how he has made Favor Dessert what it is today. And I first want to start off saying thank you to you.
You're welcome.
You probably saying, what you thanking me for? Your plan of how you did Favor Desserts.
Right.
Just our relationship and conversations.
Definitely.
It's kind of what I mocked doing Now Church after.
Right.
I remember we did a thing for North Carolina Central basketball, and I heard your story.
Right.
And when you told me how you started to do something, I'm not going to spoil it, it hit me. And I said, man, that's what I'm going to do if the Lord has ever called me to do a church.
Right.
And you were one of the ones who encouraged me and said, hey, champ, what you waiting on?
Right.
What you waiting on?
Right.
And I remember the day I came to you, I called you.
Right.
And I said, listen, I'm thinking about starting a church. And you said, say no more.
Right.
And I said, well, let me tell you my business plan. You said, say no more. When you figure it out, just let me know.
Right.
And the first day we did our pop-up service, you were there.
Right.
And I'm really, really grateful for that. And appreciate you being my man.
Yeah,
so
always.
You are the owner of Favor Desserts. Now, where did the name come from?
Well, I just believe that when you naming a business, or for me, it was just I wanted a business name that really meant something, and I came up with Favor because I wanted favor on my business. So that was the meaning beyond it. I just felt like it was something that was in the just thanking God that He blessed me with a talent and a gift. So I wanted the favor of God on my business. So that's why I came up with it.
Now you mess up people's diet plans and everything, and I was in the store the other day, and this woman was trying to give you a disclaimer. She said, now this cake ain't for me, because you just crashed everybody's diet.
Right.
And so obviously business and doing cakes, and you do cupcakes and all else you do. That's a gift. So that's something you grew up doing.
No, I learned how to bake while I was incarcerated, when I took a wrong turn and found myself in federal prison.
Okay.
And once I was at Butner, I met a gentleman. He was the head baker there at the prison, and even if we had a bad meal in the chow hall, people would flood the chow hall just to get his desserts. And so I just met him. And we had small talk, and so, I came to love his desserts, and, eventually, when he transferred to Seymour Johnson, and
that's in Fayetteville?
No, that was in Goldsboro.
Goldsboro.
That was Seymour Johnson camp. We was behind the fence at Butler, and when it was time for me to go be put in for a camp, I wanted to go to Butler camp.
Okay.
But when the designation papers came back, it had Seymour Johnson, and so. Once I went through transit and got off the bus at Seymour, he was one of the first persons I saw. I didn't even know he had left. But, when I saw him, I said, well, this might be a grand opportunity to learn what he know. And so I asked him, could he get me a job in the bakery?
So how did that conversation go? Did he say, I think this is something you're good at? You just like this cakes, or what happened?
Oh, I just liked his cakes, and, I liked his desserts. And I knew if I got in the kitchen from experience at Butner, if I could get my hands on some fruits, vegetables, or cookies, sandwich, or whatever, that I could support myself by selling the stuff on the compound to the inmates and support myself, make some money, whatever. And so that was my real reason for getting in the bakery first. Just so I could, support myself. And so once I got in there, and he started teaching me how to bake cookies, breads, cheesecakes, cakes, pies, everything from scratch. And, you know, I kind of took a liking to it, but it wasn't nothing that I felt like I wanted to do when I came home. And then, and one time he told me, I could hear him clear as day to this day, said, you know, I'm teaching you this trade, and if all fails, when you go home, you'll have a trade to fall back on. And immediately I told him, I said, man, I'm not baking nothing when I get home. I said, man, this is just to pass the time.
Right.
Then one day he just made that carrot cake. He pulled that recipe out and he made that, and he made it so good that they had to lock it up from the bakers itself because we kept eating pan after pan after pan. It was good. And so I just wrote that recipe down, and I said, you know, I'm gonna try this recipe when I get home. You know, I was just gonna try it for my family, not for I wanted to bake. You know, I wanted to start a business and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's what triggered everything. If he wouldn't have never made that carrot cake, I don't know if I'd be baking now.
Now, so you wrote that one down, and I know when you got out, that and I know your story, but I want them to know it. But you had been applying for jobs. And I know there was one that you really thought you were going to get. And tell us about that.
So when I got out, I had a job at Triangle Laboratories working as a lab technician. And I was working there, and I worked there for probably about 2 years, and then we were having a potluck dinner. And that's when I started baking the cakes. They started knowing me for the cakes and stuff like that. And I got laid off of that job. And so I went on one other job interview doing the same type of work, and I just knew I had this job. I knew it. I said, I interviewed good. Even the interviewer told me, he said, you interviewed real good. So you probably get the job. So I remember they called me, and I was on 147, and they said, Mr. Keijuane Hester, we're sorry to inform you, you didn't get the job. And so immediately something on the inside told me, step out on my gift. And that gift was the gift of baking.
And that's crazy because, you know, I always pray every Sunday at our church, God open doors that no man can shut. But sometimes God will shut a door to get you to step out on faith. And so that was what made that light bulb go off that this is something I got to do.
Yeah, this is something I got to do. Sometimes God will just push you in a corner until you have to come out fighting. You got to come out swinging. Sometimes you just strip you until you say, you know what, I got to do this. And so that's what happened. My bills were still coming in, and I said, man, I got to do something quick. And so out of the towns I was living in, I just started baking cakes and going out to every barbershop, beauty salon, nail salon.
So what was your business plan?
To make some money. That's it. It wasn't even a business. I didn't even have a business name at first. I just said, I had made up in my mind that I'm going to see if I can create a buzz. And if the buzz continue to grow, then I could go and come up with the name, go get my business name, my peddler's license, and then I can kind of start thinking along the lines of a business. But at first, I was just going off a pure hustle and just get it out the mud.
So, but what was your plan? Because I remember eating your cakes. And you would come, you had this big container, and they would be in, and you know, would, and it wasn't that, and I say that because even though you didn't have a business plan, it was well thought of, because you hit the same places. I mean, there was a professional look to it. You know, you got your, you know, there was your cake. It was in a thing.
I had my baker's jacket on.
Yep, baker's jacket. The fork was in the napkin and stuff like that.
And it was back then. I was thinking along the line of, you know, creating something that I can have a storefront. But I knew it was going to be a process. You know, I knew that it was going to take time. You got to build your customer base, and you know, I knew that I needed to create enough revenue in order to sustain me. And so, you know, I would go out to for a while, I wouldn't go to no restaurants.
Okay.
Because I only had maybe 1 or 2 recipes. And so I kept trying different recipes, trying this, trying that. Somebody would give me this recipe, I'd try that, perfect that. I tweak this recipe and I come up with something. And so I knew that I needed a list of cakes
Okay.
before I could go to a restaurant and say, hey, this is what I have to offer. Would you mind taking a shot at me selling you wholesale?
Okay.
And so once I was able to have me a list of cakes, I went and made my pitch. And I was nervous at first. I went to Coleman's, who was the fish joint. It was the spot. And I was in there. I remember I said, fish, who do your cakes? And I was shaking. I was nervous. And he said, where's this lady? She make them, but she a little sick right now. So, I ain't really got nobody. He said, what, you do some cake? I said, yeah, man. I said, would you mind taking a shot? Let me do something for you wholesale. And he said, yeah, I'll give you a shot. That was all I needed. That was all the
Just
push.
needed a shot.
I just needed a shot, man. And, as I would go out, I get a lot of no's, but then, I get that solid yes. And so I would just concentrate on the yes.
So how many barbershops or beauty salons did you say you hit up on a Saturday?
Oh, man. I say probably about 15.
15.
I had a routine. I
Okay.
would get up early. And my catch was, after I cut all the other cakes, I let the pound cakes come out last. So when the people see the pound cakes and see that steam coming off the pound cakes, that was my pull.
Okay.
Because they said, oh, I want that. That just came out. It's still warm. Yeah, I just made it.
So did you have to go back to the house and re-up, go out again,
No,
come back out?
I would cut them all.
Okay.
Okay, so I probably had about 3 or 4 bins in the back seat, in the trunk. And so once I sell out that bin, I go back and just pull another bin out. And I had my stops, I had my routes I would go every Saturday. I'd start this way, and then sometimes I reverse the route. But
to keep these people who are wondering when you come.
Yeah. And then I also timed it right, because what I do was I hit all the salons early in the morning, because I knew the ladies get their hair done like 7:30. So I got to catch them under the dryer. And so if I could catch them under the dryer, if I catch the salon packed, I knew it was a win. I had to win. It was a win.
So you would go back and forth.
Back and forth.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
When is he coming?
Yeah, and so I got it to a point where people would call my phone. Hey, is you coming this route? You coming today? Or they'll call me Friday. Hey, is you coming through here tomorrow? I'll be through there tomorrow. I'm coming. You just make sure you let everybody know I'll be there at this certain time.
So when did you start preparing for Saturday?
Friday.
Friday.
I prepared Friday. After I would go out Friday, and then I come back in. Before I come back in, I go to the store, get all the supplies, and I bake all night. I bake around the clock. It was a lot of 16
was it just
days.
You?
Yeah,
it was just you.
When I first started, it was just me, and I was the one answering the phone. I was the one making the cakes, making the icing, icing them up, and doing everything. First, it started with me on everything. Everything. I remember in the beginning, I go around and I look in the mirror, me passing by, and I notice how much weight I had done lost, just from me just grinding so much and losing weight. I would have 16-hour days, but I was just so locked in on it became me. Sometimes when you got something to do in life and you passionate about it, you got to eat, sleep, dream. It got to be you. Like Floyd Mayweather, it got to be you. It got to be a discipline. It got to be you. You can't do everything that everybody doing. I couldn't go out and hang out and stuff because I need to get sleep.
Right.
I can't do everything. If I want to be super successful.
Because I remember we were at lunch, last time you and I at lunch, and you were like, hey man, it's my last stop. And I said, what you mean? You said, because I got to do this and this and this and this. And you said, I got to get like 20 hours of sleep because I'm going to be in the deficit of 20 hours of sleep. We had lunch in Briar Creek. So with you doing that Friday, the prep part on Friday and Saturday, and that being your main source of income, what did your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look like? Was that preparing?
Like I knew that like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, some of the salons was closed.
Okay.
So I would probably bake a lot of cakes, and I had came up with how I could wrap them and put them in the freezer, and I was testing it out to see if they'll still be good.
Working on your craft.
Working on my craft, working on the shelf life, seeing how long it would last. This cake ain't gonna last. This cake, it can last. And so it was just trial and error.
Now, is that something he taught you, or is that like a switch that went off once you started doing it?
It was a switch that went off for me because I had to learn that if I was gonna mass produce, I got to learn the shelf life. I got to learn how long this gonna last. How many can I make and they still be fresh, still be good? Because if I was only gonna make 2 or 3 cakes, I can't grow like that.
Right.
If I'm a mass produce, if I'm a be able to take on 30 to 40, 50 orders, I got to be able to have some type of system that could work, that I could be able to supply and demand.
So what kind of oven did you have at that time?
Back then, it was a regular oven.
Regular oven.
So it wore me out. Until we built the house and moved in the house, that I had 3 convection ovens. That's when I was able to take off. And so that's when I was able to bake like 16 to 20 cakes at a time, you know, because they all in that convection oven, the wheel is blowing and they baking evenly. So I was able to, you know, ramp up my supply and demand, you know, and then I was able to hire a guy who he was selling ices, and he was a great hustler. And so I hired him, and I said, look, I can't pay you what you worth, but if you stick with me, we both gonna eat. And I knew that he could go out there, and if I bake them, I'm cutting my time down there. If I bake them and he go out there and hustle them, then I could rest a little bit and I won't have to work as hard. And then I called my cousin and I said, hey man, if I show you how to ice cakes, can you ice them for me? Because, you know, I had my daughter then, and I just wanted to still be effective, but I knew I had to be able to trust some people to do certain jobs in order for me to keep up with the pace. Right. And that's what I did.
So hiring other people or bringing other people in,
right,
where it's not you just hands-on,
right,
helps with rest.
Yes.
Helps with mass production.
Right.
And would you say those are the 2 things?
Yes. Yeah, and it helped me to grow. Okay. Because a lot of times
rest, mass production, and growth.
Yeah, because a lot of times a business owner might have a business and they working, and they don't realize if you can't rest, you can't think, and you can't be creative.
Is it easy for you to turn it off?
What?
Just your mind.
No.
Yeah, it's hard for me to turn it off.
No, this is just become me. It's interwoven in my fabric. Like it's me. Like I eat, sleep. It takes over.
Right.
Like it's, I ain't gonna say it's a session, but it's just like, I got to do this. I got a lot of people depending on me. I got my mama depending on me. I got my staff depending on me. I got my kids.
Right.
And then, you know, but I love it. Even the hard days, you got to love it.
Right.
Even when everything went out the window and you having a bad day, know that sometimes it's just a bad 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't categorize your day by that, just what happened. It's just 30 days. Just shake it off and keep moving.
So when did you know? So you said you had rest, you had mass production and growth. When did you know? All right, now, because I know a lot of people who are watching, who are doing food and doing cupcakes and doing cakes and doing desserts. Right. When did you feel like, now I need a brick and mortar spot?
Right. Well, I took a smart approach. I would say smart approach.
Okay.
Because, you know, there's a such thing to me, I think, as stupid faith.
Okay.
You jumping out there, you ain't sold a cake before, and you want to open up brick and mortar.
Right.
That's stupid.
Right.
I mean, that don't make sense. I did a slow faith, building my confidence.
Okay.
And then I was able to have different restaurants that I was wholesaling cakes to that would undergird me that I was able to pay. I had enough income coming in where I was able to pay my bills at home and then also pay my bills at the bakery if no one came through the door.
So, and I think that's good what you're saying. It's kind of like, I'm a preacher, so I'm using the Bible. It's kind of like with David.
Right.
David fought the lion and the bear that let him know that he could beat Goliath.
Right.
So it's like a slow fade.
Yeah.
That when he came over here, he's like, hey, champ, I done did this.
Yeah.
I've done that. So that's slow walking that faith.
You got to slow walk that thing. You can't come from you can't be living in the projects and then say, hey, I'm about to go buy this $5 million house.
Right.
If you don't have the principles to sustain the $5 million house, you might need just get a regular house first and learn the principles.
What principles had you learned before it was time to go into brick and mortar?
About budgeting, time management, customer service, being able to trust.
If you don't mind, can you break down budgeting?
Budgeting. Okay, so you got to know that, hey, if I went out there and made $500, I know I got this sold back into my business. So I'm gonna take probably $200 or $300 and I'm gonna go buy supplies. I'm gonna go look and see if I can buy some pans. And I'm writing down that, hey, I'm gonna need this mixer right here in the future. I need that. So I'm gonna save $50 towards, I need that mixer because that mixer gonna help me be more sufficient than this little mixer I have. I started out with a hand mixer, but I knew I needed a professional mixer in order for me to whip it up right. And so
then you said time management.
Time management. You're gonna need some rest. You got to get that rest. You can't go party and then think you're gonna be productive in the morning. You got to get that rest, and you got to know that, hey, I'm gonna go out for this certain amount of time, but then I'm gonna start reeling it back in because I still got to bake tonight for tomorrow. You got to learn time management. What's important to you? What's important in this block of time? In order for me to be productive, be successful, I got to prioritize my time.
And what was the third one? You said growth.
Just knowing that, hey, if I'm gonna grow, I'm gonna have to take a leap of faith. You got to step out there. At some point, you're gonna have to jump out the boat. You just got to jump out the boat. And people don't realize sometimes it ain't what you don't have. You already wired for success. It's everything that you have. The most successful people, they didn't have everything. Every I wasn't dotted, every T won't cross. But they had that thing on the inside that said, I got to do this. If I don't do this, then I'm gonna die slow. I got this. What I do, this is what brings me life. I pray that everybody could find a passion in what they love doing, because when you find your passion and you love doing what you do, I ain't never worked a day in my life.
Right. So would you say this is something that you became good at, or would you say this is a gift from God?
This is a God's given gift, because.
But you didn't know you had it when
I didn't know.
When you were just trying to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to work on the craft.
Okay.
You're gonna have to work on the craft. But I just believe that this is a God's given gift, because there's some recipes that it don't take me but one time or something. I know when to stop the mixer. I know when it's done overbeat.
You ain't looking at a watch.
I ain't looking at no watch. No, I know that that's it. That's it. Don't run it no more. That's it. I know this. This is just like it's when you know.
So let me ask you this then, because I ask people who I consider successful, and it's not just in preaching or churches, but like, when did that switch go off? Like, one of my little brother Thad, played in the NFL for 7 years. I said, when did it go off that you knew, like, I'm good? He said that his brother took him out to play baseball, and he said, throw the ball, and he said he hit the mark every time. And he said his brother said, Mom, he's gonna be a quarterback. And he said he knew when he could hit the mark every time. He knew. When did that switch go off? You like, man, you know what? I kind of know what I'm doing.
I think when I kept growing, man, because in the beginning I just said that I thought myself thinking like, people gonna stop supporting me at some point.
Mm-hmm.
They just riding the wave right now, but sooner or later they gonna stop. But then as I kept growing and people, people start noticing who I am and I'm going places and they say, hey, that's the cake man. Boy, you do good cakes. And then, you know, sometimes I go in Walmart when I got up. I know one time, I knew when I was effective.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say I was good because it's not just the cake.
Okay.
It's the story.
Okay.
So one day I went in Walmart and this young dude, it was probably about 3 a.m. because I was going to get my supply. He said, hey man, you the cake man, right? He said, I don't know what you said to my brother when you came and spoke to the class, but he was super lazy. I mean, like he was lazy. But now, man, he came home and was like, man, I got to get on my grind. He said, man, that boy worked now and he ain't never stopped. That's when I knew it was impact.
And see, I think a lot of people think it's always, and I'm a preacher.
Right.
But like hearing you speak at Central, I still have that clip on my phone.
Right.
Like if I'm feeling some sort of way,
Right.
I'll listen to that clip.
Right.
Because you said, they might not respect me, but they gonna respect my grind.
Yeah, you gonna respect my grind. Ain't nobody. There's not a human that I believe that's gonna outwork me. That's how I live. You're not gonna outwork me because I'm gonna work hard. I have my mother instilled in me work ethic. I went to work when I was young, and she told me, she said, one thing you're gonna do, you're gonna work, and you're gonna help me with these bills. She gave me all the principles that I need because she taught me hard, and I saw her get up and go to work and work. And, I mean, she worked till she was tired. So it's embedded in me, work. And so if you're not, hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. If you're not gonna put the work in, you're not gonna get good results. You got to work. Even when I work jobs, I take this approach. Even if I'm getting $10 or $100,000, my work ethic gonna be the same because you never know who watching, and you never know what door open for you just off your work ethic.
Right.
So let your work ethic speak for yourself, not you coming in there saying I'm gonna be the best worker.
Right.
No, show me with your actions.
Right.
Work ethic
Right.
speaks.
Now I can hear Wendell now. Hey, you got to catch everybody on E.
Right.
So these people over here, you're rerouting,
Right.
Because they on E.
Right.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
They got to get their hair done.
That's right.
They ain't 8.
That's right.
These people don't have no vending machine.
That's right.
I'm gonna catch them.
That's right. And that's what I say. Even when I go on my out and do my food truck rodeo, I said we got to hit these people at least 2 to 3 times. We're gonna hit them with the good customer service, and then I got my bio card in the bag, and then the sale. So that's 3 times. So if the customer service is good, and the product good, they know where to come back to because they got the bio card. And then they're gonna read my story. They're gonna see how I started, and they're gonna say, "Man, I'm intrigued by this young man. We got to support this."
Right.
People support. I get a lot of. It's the case. The case is good, but I think a lot of my support comes from the overcoming, the story. You know, it's wrapped. The cakes are wrapped around the story.
And that's one of the things. It's so crazy you say that because that's one of the things. Now, church is more than just Pastor Nate.
Right.
It's an experience.
Right.
And so we're going to hit them a couple of times. We're going to hit them in the parking lot with the frontline guys.
Right.
We're going to hit them when they come through the door with the greeters.
Right.
We're going to hit them when they come in the sanctuary where everybody do. And like you said, them coming to hear me preach, they're going to hit them with the worship.
Right.
They done been hit so many times.
That's right. It's when you create a experience, people gravitate to that.
Right.
That's just like you go to Vegas and you go to the Bellagio and you go to the restaurant and you be like, oh man, that food was good. When you go back home, you're gonna be like, man, I'll be glad when I go back to Vegas so I can see that.
Right.
Because the ambiance, the experience, the customer service, that was overwhelming.
So it's bigger than just you.
I'm just a small portion of it. It's bigger than just me. It's not just it's not about Keijuane. It's not about just the case. It's just the whole overall package.
Yeah.
The overcoming, hey man, the hope that if he can do it, I can do it. I have so many people that come to me and say, man, you're an inspiration. And sometimes it catch me off guard because I'll be like, man, I ain't really done that. But then when I sit down and sit back and think about how far God done brought me, and just each step I have to really, it's really humbling. Yeah. And I truly say that, man, God done brought me a long way. And I still got a long way to go. But I'm grateful.
So when you got the brick and mortar, how you went to a bank and got a loan?
No, sir, no loan. There was no loan. It was no loan. It was I had probably had about 10, maybe 15 saved, and so I had I knew I had money still coming in, and so I said, well, I got enough to just get it started, and as I made money, I could still just do. But then by the time I had put the grease trap in and put the sink in and just the unseen things that was costly. And I ran out of money. And so I was just talking to two of my friends on the phone. I wasn't asking them for no money. I'm just talking about, man, I'm trying to get this thing going and I'm frustrated and man, and then both of them was like, look, man, on two different phone calls, they was like, we believe in you. What you need, whatever you need, I got you.
It sounds like our conversation.
Yeah,
I called you. You were in Miami.
Yeah.
And you was like, hey, champ, look, I'm in Miami for 2 weeks.
Right.
When I get back Monday, I'm gonna call you.
Right.
And I was like, man, I hope he called.
Right. And then
we got back. You called me.
Right.
And I never forget the first day of the pop-up service. You didn't come sit in a chair. Right. You sit in the back of the room.
Right.
And you was like, hey, let me holler at you for a second. Right. I came to the back. And he's like, here, I believe in you.
Right.
And you put something in my hand. Right. And I was like, I need to give you an envelope for tax exemption. She's like, man, I don't need no tax exemption. Right. And and I'm saying not in a bad way, but you came that time.
Right.
You hadn't been back,
right,
but you believed in us from the beginning.
Yeah.
When I called, and I'm saying it wasn't depicted on you being a member of Now Church. No. You just believe.
I believe in you. Yeah. I believe in you. I look at it like this: if a person meet you and know you, and they get to know you, it's obvious we ain't even talking about the preacher part. We just talking about the good person. And I have never heard nobody say anything bad about you. And people, at the phase I'm in, I want good, genuine people, not people with hidden motives, hidden agenda. I always get there. I always got somebody coming to me with a pitch about something. Right. But when you meet genuine people, and I ain't got to see you every day. I ain't got to talk to you all the time. Right. But if you need me, you call me and say, Key, I need you such XYZ. I'm gonna clear my schedule.
You say
just
say
for
no
you.
more. Yep, you do.
And that's when it's genuine. It's genuine, and that's just what it is. That's what I get from you. You're genuine.
So you went to this building.
Yeah.
You got the money, went to the building.
Right.
Then how does stuff speed up?
Oh man.
Just with Favor Desserts from there.
Well, once I got in the building, I knew that, hey, a lot of people might not come because they don't know at first. And so I just kept going around and just kept marketing myself because I wasn't even on social media like that. And so I would just...
And you still don't advertise a lot on social media?
No, I don't. And I just...
I looked and I was like, man, he ain't posted that in 8 years.
So I just said, me and my good friend, my big sister Tanya Ford, we said we were going to have a grand opening. And so once I had that grand opening, and man, it was just like, it just took off from there. It was just like, wow. I mean, the door was just ringing off. It was just crazy. And then it tapered off a little bit, but then I was able to tap into social media. And once I tapped into social media and just kind of, learn what to put on social media, what not to put on social media, everybody don't need to know how I'm feeling today. You know, some stuff you got to,
Right.
If you trying to be a business person, I just believe that you can't put everything.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
Right.
Because some you might kill your biggest support by you voicing how you feel on certain stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know, some stuff you just, if you promote your business, promote your business.
Right.
And then just let everything else fall in place.
It's funny because me and my wife were at this, I won't say the name of the restaurant. We were at this grand opening for this restaurant. An attorney general from the United States at the time came to it.
Right.
And the lady said, "Oh, you have to have some of Keijuane's cake. It's the greatest thing ever." She's like, "Pastor Nate, have you?" I said, I probably had a slice or two. I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Right.
And he's like, "How can I get one of them sent to Washington?"
Right.
And they had to get one and send it to D.C. For him. And I just sat back and I was proud. I was like, the Attorney General like my boy Cake.
Right.
And that was advertisement right there. She said, "Nate, I'm sure you've never had this." I said, "No, I don't even know him. I don't know Keijuane."
Right.
But he ate it and he, really enjoyed it.
If you treat people right, people will be your voice for your business. Mm-hmm. If you it's a scripture say if you tell the vision and people will run with it. But if I take it a step further, if you treat people right and you be good to people, people will tell people. People will be your
Absolutely.
your voice, your mouthpiece.
Absolutely.
I got the bulk of my business through word of mouth. People come in and say, "Hey man, such and such told me to come down here and support you." I had a lady, man, and you just never know who you entertaining, so you got to be good to people. I just went and delivered some cupcakes to Williams Gourmet Kitchen, and then the lady was coming out, and I opened the door for her, and she said, "What do you do?" I said, "I own a bakery down the street." I said, "Just here's my card. Just come and check me out sometime." And I opened her door because she had her hands full, and she said, "I'm gonna check you out." The next week, she called me and ordered $1,000 worth of cakes.
Wow.
And that's just how you treat people.
Right.
You never know.
Right.
So you have to always entertain people like they angels, because you never know. God will raise up a homeless person, put money in his pocket just to support you.
Yeah.
Treat people right, man. You got to walk with kings and keep the common touch.
Yep.
You can't. I don't care how. My mama always say this. No matter how much money you got in your pocket, that's not the catch. The catch is what's in your here. How you treat people. You don't never treat people like they are beneath you.
Right.
Because if you do, that ladder you might have to walk down that ladder. They might be the ones that pick you up.
Right.
They might be the one that help you pump life into your business.
Yeah.
So you gotta treat people right.
So how did you, now you have the cakes, have the recipes, you're gifted. How wide was the gap of learning how to do business as just doing business?
Well,
is it something you learned? How did you learn?
Yeah. You learn on the way.
Okay.
For me, I learned on the way because I didn't have a business plan.
Right.
I just wrote down goals. I wrote down where I saw myself, where I wanted to be. And, I just kept speaking it and just kept looking at magazines and looking at people who already had a business. And I just let that be an impartation to me. Or I look at somebody and I see they talking about business and I implement that into what I take a piece from here, a piece from there. And then I got great mentors that I sit there and sometimes I just listen to them talk. They don't know they mentoring me.
Same here.
They don't know that they imparting to me what I need in order for my business to go further along. So sometimes all you have to do is be quiet and just listen. And so when I started calling like my mentor he has a multi-million-dollar successful business in Richmond, Virginia, and we was locked up together and he was doing his business plan while we was there. But he came out and he's really doing it. And so when I can call him and say, "Hey man, what you think about this?" or "What you think I should do this?" or "What?" and he'll say, "Hey, well, do that, don't do that." So you have to have people that are not intimidated by your success. and will tell you what they think you should do.
Right.
They already successful.
Right.
They already done went down the road of success, and they'll obtain a little more success than you have. And you can't be afraid to ask.
Right.
And if they genuine, and you know when it's genuine, and when you talking to them, just ask them.
Yeah.
Because it's all information. And if they really for you, they're gonna share the information.
Are you a baker or are you a businessman?
I'm a businessman that know how to bake.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because I just feel like I have all the tangibles of a businessman. I have charisma. I have good customer service. If we mess up an order, I'm gonna make it right.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure you happy.
Right.
And I love people. I'm a people's person. I'm people's person first. And so I know your name when you come in the door. Hey, and sometimes I might know that, man, some might say, man, go and pray for that person. I said, man, what's going on? You all right today? And, man, let me just pray for you. Or how the family doing? Somebody might, hey, you look nice today. And sometimes some people come in and say, man, I just needed to see your boy. It just, I don't say this arrogantly because I'm not an arrogant
Absolutely
person.
not.
I say this with confidence. But I feel like God blessed me with the when to talk and when not to talk.
Okay.
When to listen and when to say something. When to joke and when not to joke. And so I just feel like, I have the tools. I know who to mess with and who not to mess with. And, I just feel like I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, getting out of here, you would say somebody who is baking, cooking, or doing something like that right now at this time, as somebody who we consider a boss, you're saying it's time to make that transition when? To this is what I do. Because you said you stepped out on faith.
Right.
And because this got turned down, but what if I'm in a job right now and I'm doing something else to make income with my family, but I want to know, when does this over here, is it time to do this full time?
Okay, well, what you need to do, first of all, you need to research.
Okay.
Everything is right there at your fingertips. With your phone, all you got to do is get on the internet. Okay. And then what you can start doing is going around and trying to start making some small sales. Hey, how did you like this? Start critiquing yourself. Get somebody to critique you. Hey, what you think about it? What you think about the product? You think I could sell it?
Okay.
You think this would be good to sell? How long you think I could? You need to think along those lines, because you still got a job here. You still need to make income. And so you take steps.
Okay.
You don't have to just turn the hot water on. Just take a step. Everything is a process. Everything is a step. If you don't go, if you just try to do A to Z, you're gonna miss all the principles you need right there. Too many people are trying to hit a home run.
Okay.
But I tell people this, that you have to enjoy the base hits en route to the homer. Enjoy life. Celebrate where you are, man. I learned that I got to celebrate where I am. I feel like I'm doing good. I ain't right there yet.
Yeah.
I'm good where I'm at right now. I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm at peace where I'm at right now. And my peace, you can't compromise your peace for no amount of money. There's no price tag on your peace.
Right.
And your happiness.
Right.
And if it's something that's taking your peace and your happiness, that's demonic.
It's taking both.
Right.
Yeah.
You got because at the end of the day, if you not, I watched my mama work on a job for 33 years, and she hated the job, and it affected her health, and it affected her mental state. And I took away from that I don't want to be like that. I don't never want to. Whatever I do, it got to be my choice, and I got to love doing it. I'm not gonna let nobody talk me into this is what I think you could be successful in that. No, you do that.
You're right.
No, you ain't gonna pull me. I'm super strong headed, so nobody can pull me into that.
Right.
If you're making $1 million over there, you make your $1 million. I'm happy for you.
Right.
That's your success. I'm good. You don't need to give me no money. But I'd rather walk the route that I'm walking because this is what make me happy.
Right.
It ain't about the money, cause the money gonna come, the money gonna go. But the time is the most important thing in life, not money.
Yeah.
Because money, if you trust God, if you pay your tithes and you sow seed in things that are fruitful, God gonna make sure you got the money.
Yeah.
He gonna open the door.
Yeah.
He gonna open the door.
It's kind of like a thing we're gonna start talking about soon at the church, and this will be aired. So it's not a spoiler alert, but it's kind of like God doing a one offer, and I want the people at our church to be in the flow of God.
Right.
And it's different between being blessed and being in the flow. I feel like once you stepped out on faith, you were in the flow of God.
Right.
We're in that path. Everything you needed was in that path.
The provision.
Once you got in God's plan.
Yeah,
the people there for the building, the people there, the customers, the people this, and it's in that flow. And I want them to, a lot of times say, hey, Canaan is the land that's flowing with milk and honey. But once you get in that, people say the overflow. I get the overflow.
Yeah.
That's something that'll take you at a time.
Right.
But I'd rather be on a path that God has mapped out for me.
Yeah.
And everything I need, you just walking into it.
Yeah, because if you in line with God, He gon', man, it's crazy because with this COVID thing, I have accounts. So when school shut down, everything shut down, and I lost some big money, and and I stepped back and I said, man, what's gonna happen? But then, I just had to trust God.
Yeah.
And I ain't God the real deal.
Yeah, when I came in that day and there was 30 people in there and they were like, hey, like how many y'all waiting for so-and-so cake? And everybody raised their hand.
Right.
And I said, I'm just gonna sit here and see how long these people, they're like, hey, yeah, you can go ahead.
Right.
I was like, no, that's my man. I just came to tell him something.
Right.
He's like, how many people waiting for so-and-so cake?
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be another hour. And nobody left.
Right. It's just
Shop full.
It's man, God been good.
Shop full.
God been good.
Yeah.
God is good.
So
trust God.
Yeah.
That's the key. Please, if you don't hear nothing I say, trust God with your success.
Trust God with your success.
He said He will give you a good success.
Well, look, I'm glad I was in the flow, and I'm glad you're my man.
Yeah.
And I'm your,
Yeah, always, 100%.
You know,
I already know.
People don't even know you are the reason why I call my wife Champ. I just like the way you said it. I said, man, he said so good. I'm gonna call my wife that. People was like, where did you get Champ from? I'm like, Key.
Yeah.
I heard him say it for years.
Right.
And I said, man, I'm gonna take that thing.
Right.
But I take you. I mean, I love you, man. I
love
thank
you too, bro.
And appreciate you being my dude.
Yeah, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep inspiring us all. Yes, sir. You the man.
Hey, so this is Pastor Nate, and this is the end of Boss Talk episode 2. And I know that you heard something today that's going to take your business to the next level. I know you heard something today that's going to make you dream. Every time I'm around Keijuane, I'm supposed to be sitting up and listening, but I'm just locked in. I can always, and it's true, I have on my phone from when I heard him speak at North Carolina Central. And he said, I started out with a mixer and one recipe, and nobody's gonna beat my hustle. I didn't start it from the bottom, but I started from the curb. And so it's a person I really look to. And we'll see you again next time on Boss Talk. Peace.
Yes.